let's rephrase. Okay, Tasmania, aka Hobart.
That's no. Hobart is about 2 hours drive from Launceston. You have to go through Launceston to get down to Port Arthur. It's one of the major highways.
Okay, and this is in Tasmania.
Correct.
Okay, I know where it is situated on the map. Now, say that again about the opium fields.
When we did our road trip, we drove past Launceston, and we noticed thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of opium poppies growing. They were all 7-foot wire mesh fences. We stopped our car and wanted to take a photo in front of these poppy fields. Within 2 minutes of us getting out of the car, there were armed guards approaching us from the other side.
Get out of town.
Yes, and it's all owned by the government. And most of that, you know where that ends up, don't you?
In the arms or in the noses, depending on how they ingest it. Wow. Well, now, are you sure it's the Australian government? Could the land be leased to, let's say, China or to some other entity? That's because it wouldn't surprise me if China's growing opium in Australia and they're basically have it protected by the taxpayers down there. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just saying.
What happens is our government sells it back to China. They make it and convert it into heroin. That's why there was a big, how do you say it? A big suppression on fertilizer, because that's how you make heroin. You mix opium with fertilizer, ammonium nitrate, and it creates heroin. That's why in countries like Holland and that, they have what they call dirty heroin. They don't wash it before they sell it.
Wow, this is pretty shocking. I mean, it's nothing shocking anymore, especially how far governments would go to betray and murder their own people. But this is
think about every country has some form of drug systems. Like, look in America, you've got that tranks at the moment, which is fentanyl mixed with something else. And after a while, these people, start having all of these lesions all over their bodies. Mm-hmm. Because it just attacks their immune system and it eats them alive.
The fentanyl, like we were reporting back in 2014, was being produced and manufactured in the southernmost province of China and being brought over because Canada and the United States don't make fentanyl, right? It comes from, but now Mexico is, because the Chinese got smart to this. In 2019 and 2020, the Chinese moved their operation from China to Mexico and produced the fentanyl in Mexico and then bringing it up through the United States through mules.
Yep, easier to control because the government gives them the access.
Mm-hmm.
And coke coming into Australia, all of these ships are coming into our waters and throwing all this cocaine. We've got cocaine bags washing up on our beaches.
That was on the news a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so every country is doing another country an injustice by giving it drugs in some way, shape or form. When you think about it logically, every country does it. There's problems with drugs in Africa right now. And look at some of the European countries. They do the pot.
Mm-hmm.
They do marijuana. So every country has a form of drug that is going around that is popular at the moment.
And the news publicizes it like it's like the next week's new thing.
Yeah, it's the new lolly on the market, darling.
Mm-hmm.